power. But I will tell you that what's happening right now is just as fundamental to democracy as your vote. Because if you do not have self-determination, you do not have self-governance, and that's what democracy is all about. So we need you to show up. I'm hearing what people are saying. I want you to go to the streets, but I want you to know it's important to vote too. And though we may not get a majority in the legislature to make changes, what can happen is our statewide candidates that we have here can make a difference. The lieutenant governor can set the agenda about what happens in the legislature. The attorney general can determine what's legal or not, and absolutely the governor has the veto power. So do not give up. I'm reeling like all of y'all are, but I'm also rallying like all of y'all are. We have to elect these statewide officials who are our last lines of defense. We have to elect Mike Collier, Rochelle Garza, and our next governor, Beto.
All right, Donna Howard, way to get him hyped. Our next fighter, if you all are ready, our next fighter has been in this movement as a leader with Planned Parenthood for 12 years. She is the current executive director of Planned Parenthood Texas Votes. And are y'all ready for this? Are you ready? Yeah. She is your Democratic candidate for Travis County Clerk. Austin, we are bringing out Dyana Limon-Mercado.
Thank you, Shelley. Hi, everyone. Thank you again. I'm Dyana Limon-Mercado, the Executive Director of Planned Parenthood Texas Votes. I don't have any remarks prepared. I was on the struggle bus all weekend, y'all. It was really, really hard for me. We were prepared. We knew this was coming. We've been fighting. We've been telling people to get involved. But then it hit me like 10,000 pounds on my chest, and I felt like I was seeing red. I was seeing black. I didn't know what I was feeling. As a person who has had 2 abortions in Texas, those abortions saved my life. As a person who is now a mother of 2 beautiful Tejanas here in our state, it is unfathomable to me and unacceptable that my daughters have less rights today than I had 19 years ago. And so the question is, what are we going to do? And some people are like, we're going to do this. No, we need to do that. No, we need to do this. Let's call it this. Let's call it that. What color are you wearing? I don't give a shit about any of those things, y'all. Do everything. Whatever you want to do, whatever is calling to you in this moment, however this might speak to you, do that. If you want to take to the streets and shut down business as usual, do that. If you want to register voters, yes, please do that. If you want to support your local abortion fund, yes, help them and help others get the abortions that they need. And support your providers, whether they are in-state here, because birth control and prevention is more important than ever, and help providers in other states so that they can expand services and get people the care they need when they do get out of state. And people keep asking me, about elections, well, what are the chances of Texas winning? And that doesn't matter anymore. It's what are our choices? And our choices are to fight or not fight. Are y'all gonna fight? And here's the awesome news. There is no gerrymandering at the statewide level. I don't want to hear anymore, my voice doesn't matter, my vote doesn't matter. Every single one of us counts. In the 2018 election for Senate, the vote cap was just 215,000 voters. Can we find 215,000 more people in this state? I know we can. I know that there are more of us than there are of them. I know we will win. Let's all work together to elect Rochelle, Mike, Beto. Let's do this, y'all.
Thank you, my friend and co-conspirator. All right, folks, real quick, be sure you are taking care of yourselves right now. Please check on your neighbor. If you need water, get hydrated. Again, the EMT booth is right over here, which I believe is stage right, but I'm not sure about that. EMT booth is that way, so make sure you're taking care of yourself, stay in the shade, drink water. All right, bringing her special brand of energy to the stage, we have Senator Sarah Eckhardt, who serves the people of Sin District 14 and all of us in the fight for our reproductive rights. Senator Eckhardt, are you ready?
From your school district all the way to the highest positions
believe in science, who can tell what fact is from fiction, and who will stand up for your rights. People like Rochelle, like Mike, and like Beto. What are we going to do? Vote them in! 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 Vote them in!
Thank you, Senator Eckhardt. So I'm feeling a little bit of excitement around the slate of statewide candidates. We have running from land commissioner to governor. Is there excitement? Am I right? I get a little hyped. Not just a little hyped. I get a lot hyped about our next speaker, about Rochelle Garza. Not only because she is qualified, not only because she is capable, not only because she will be the first Latina elected. Now let that sink in. Let that sink in for a minute. Not only because she sued the Trump administration and won, but she is the badass we need in this fight. Austin, make some noise for our choice for Attorney General, Rochelle.
Can y'all hear me in the back? Awesome. All right, everyone. My name is Rochelle Garza. I'm your Democratic nominee for Texas Attorney General. And I'm ready to fight for our families, our children, and our rights. I was 9 weeks pregnant when the 6-week abortion ban went into effect. And when the Supreme Court didn't step in then, we all knew what was coming next. So on Friday, the Supreme Court overturned Roe and stripped us of our constitutional rights to access abortion care. On Friday, I should have celebrated my daughter turning 3 months old, and instead I mourned the loss of her rights. Do you know what our indicted Attorney General Ken Paxton was doing on Friday? He was celebrating. He made it a holiday for his staff. And he called it the Sanctity of Life Day. Do y'all know what Ken Paxton should be doing? He should be answering for his crimes. This man has been under criminal indictment for 7 years and has not answered for his crimes. He's under FBI investigation for bribery. And he may lose his law license because he's trying to overturn the 2020 election. This is how bad this guy is. So overturning Roe, it's about control. It's about denying us our basic human rights and our dignity. It is an absolute crisis. Abortion bans do nothing but harm Texans. The Attorney General is the last stand for abortion rights in Texas. The Attorney General doesn't have to answer to the governor, to lieutenant governor, or to the legislature. The Attorney General has to answer to the people of Texas, to all of you. And the people of Texas demand access to abortion care. As Attorney General, I will not enforce Texas's trigger law. I will not prosecute abortion providers. I will partner with prosecutors across the state to protect access to abortion. We cannot persecute families for making the right decision for themselves. And I'm not going to stand for that. I'm going to fight every single day for every single one of you. Abortion is health care, and it should be available to every single person who needs one or wants one. And look, this fight is not new to me, y'all. I
I've had to take on Trump. I've had to take on Kavanaugh. I've had to take on Paxton himself to fight for this right. And together with all of you, we're going to win again. We are going to take our rights back. So what are we going to do? We're going to vote them out, and we're going to vote all of us in. Thank you.
Rochelle Garza, y'all. Rochelle Garza. All right, team, one more reminder. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves, staying hydrated, trying to stay cool, and checking on your neighbor. Let's talk about Mike Collier. I said, let's talk about Mike Collier. Mike Collier is running to be the first pro-choice lieutenant governor in Texas history. Now, we all know Dan Patrick has written some of the coolest anti-abortion legislation in the nation.
He's a potato!
There you go, girl. Say that. What happens? What happens in Texas if we have a champion as lieutenant governor? What happens? What kind of change can you envision if we have a champion as lieutenant governor of Texas? I'm not feeling it, y'all. I'm just not. What happens is we protect Texans. We protect all Texans. Mike Collier is our next speaker, y'all. Bring him out.
Thank you. My name is Mike Collier, and my job is to beat Dan Patrick's ass. Dan Patrick's got to go! Dan Patrick's got to go! Do you know how bad Dan Patrick is? Do you know how bad he is? He wrote the law making abortion illegal, regardless of whether you will live or die, regardless if you've been raped, regardless of the decisions that only you can make about your body. He wrote that law, and he's got to go. And do you know how powerful he is? The lieutenant governor is the most powerful legislator in the state, and he used that power to take that bill and cram it down your throats. I want to use that power. Now you watch. When I win this election, I will use that power to make sure that Roe v. Wade becomes the law of the land in Texas. And don't think we can't, because when we win these statewide offices, it will be an absolute political earthquake. And we can get it done. And we have to get it done. And you have my solemn vow, I'm not doing this to get reelected. I'm doing this to fight. Are you going to fight with me? And when we have passed that bill, with great pride, I'm going to walk over to my friend, Governor Beto O'Rourke, and he will sign that bill into law. And then I'm going to walk over to my friend Rochelle Garza, Attorney General, and she's going to bring that law to life, and then you will be free. Will you help us win? Will you help us win? Then let's go kick their ass!
Woo-wee! Y'all! The amount of ass kicking that's about to happen in Texas. I don't know if you guys noticed, there's a few folks back here. One of them is your Travis County Judge, Andy Brown. We've got Travis County Commissioner for Precinct 3, Ann Howard. Wait a minute, I see another statewide candidate. Hello, Janet Dunning. If you're not following Janet's race, she is running for state comptroller. Jim McDonald. And we have P.O. Renteria. You're CC2? Yes, P.O. is here. We have former city council member and current congressional candidate Greg Casale. Congressional candidate Claudia Zapata is with us. Did I miss anybody? Anybody else? You ready for D5 in Austin? Tell me your name. Stephanie Bazan, running for D5. Now let me tell you, it takes a special kind of courage to run for office in Texas. Whether it's from school board up to governor, you have got to have ovaries of steel to run for office in Texas. Okay, Austin, I told you we had some advocates here with us today. Our next speaker is Yasmine Smith. She is a native Austinite. She is an advocate for all Texans, an attorney, and I'm happy to bring her to the stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Yasmine Smith. I am a born and raised Austinite. A Texan, a black woman. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I am absolutely exhausted. Today was supposed to be my first day off in nearly 3 weeks. I was going to spend it with my little sister and my mother. I was going to rest. When the call came through my phone, I expected to hear the melody of my sister and mother saying, "We're here." But instead I heard the voice of another exhausted black woman saying and stumbling over her words, "We need your help." And so I did what I've always done. I reorganized my necessities to prioritize that which would serve the ultimate good, that which would help the most people. So I began to prepare to come before you today to tell you how I feel, but if I am honest, I have not taken the necessary space and time to analyze how I feel. So I guess we'll go ahead and process together. June 24th, 2022 will mark a day in history that the future will look back at in disgust, disbelief, and shame. A day where women and childbearing people were stripped of their basic foundational rights. A day where we lost our rights to our bodies, our futures, our humanly autonomy, further delegating half of our species to be less than. A familiar and infamous trope that we find ourselves in our reality today, a trope that I fear will continue to evaporate our civil rights. As someone who has a deep connection with my Creator, I don't know if I could make the most intimate and difficult decisions others have made. But I do know, because of that relationship with my Creator, it would be unfair to sit in an imaginary throne and cast judgment on others. It is unfair that those that will never know my life can decide how it will bloom, or more statistically probable, how it will dry up like a raisin in the sun. It is unfair that my current reality consists of either subjugating myself to criminal penalties, or if I do carry a child, because my maternal health rate, mortality rate is 30 times worse than white women, that I will die in childbirth. Or the fantastically horrifying reality that if I should bear a child, that in 10 years their bodies will hang like strange fruits once those who decide they are masters determine that they are a threat. generations that are coming after us. I'm sorry for the world that you have to inherit. However, there are no other generations in our lifetimes that are more capable. We will stand with you and they will not tear us down. And to those who have decided themselves to be masters, this is far from over. If you didn't know Yasmine, now you do. Again, real quick, make sure you're taking care of yourselves, staying hydrated, check on your neighbor, make sure we're all okay. It has been 9 years since our friend, co-conspirator, and champion, Wendy Davis, stood on the House floor, what do we call it, Wendy, shouting down midnight? Shouting down midnight. And the filibuster that spurred many of us here today into action. Wendy has been in the fight. She stayed in the fight. And she's here today because she knows what's at stake if we give up. Y'all know who she is. Bring Wendy on up to the stage.
Texas is the state that gave us Roe v. Wade, and Texas is the state that is going to bring it back. 9 years ago exactly yesterday, thousands of us from across this state gathered in the Texas Capitol, the first time and only time in its history that it was filled to capacity. And we gathered because we were angry, because we knew we needed to show up, because women and others who can become pregnant in our state needed us to be there for them. We were fighting an anti-abortion law that would have closed almost every single abortion clinic in our state. And that day, because of our collective voices, we were able to shout that injustice down and filibuster that bill to death. And in that moment, we understood something about ourselves. We understood how powerful we can be when we decide that we are going to show up in a moment that we know so many people are going to become victimized by. And that's the moment we find ourselves in again today. It seems unreal to me. And I know you feel the same way, that we have been fighting this fight and fighting this fight day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and here we are. But let's all recognize how we got here. We got here through politics. We got here because the folks on the other side worked and didn't give up and elected people at every level of governance so that they could get judges appointed who would lead us to the moment that we are in today. And the only way that we are going to get out of this is to work harder than we've ever worked before. I cannot begin to stress to you how important it is that Rochelle Garza is our next Attorney General. And having been a member of the Texas Senate and having served with Dan Patrick, I cannot tell you how important it is that Mike Collier becomes our next Lieutenant Governor. And in this moment,
take our reproductive autonomy away, we will rise up and we will make change. And that comes in the form of a new governor for this state. You know this about Beto. You know that Beto has no give up in him. You know that he has fought for us in his U.S. Senate race, that he fought for us when he ran for president, and that he is fighting for us again. And he and his family have sacrificed so much to make sure that we have a voice who will stand up for all of us. So let's do our part. Don't let a single person that you know go without voting in this next statewide election in November. Let's show them our power, and let's elect our next governor, Beto.
Come on up, everybody. I want everybody to get as close as we can together. Believe me, we don't want to be in the shade right now. We want to be sweating just as hard as you are, okay? I want you to look at everyone who is next to you, everyone who's behind you, everybody who's on this stage right now. It defies the conventional wisdom in the rest of the country about who we are right now in the state of Texas. And listen, it gives hope to those who are tempted to succumb to despair at this frightening moment for so many. And we forgive them if they are thinking about giving up right now, or if they have the privilege and the resources to go to some other place in this country or on this planet. But they are going to take heart when they see you here, they hear your voices, they see your faces, and they know that you are committed to doing the work to overcome this moment. And as Wendy just said, to win political power. Are you with me on this? Texas to know that we are together. I just left the liberal hotbed of Bryan College Station on my way up here. And I want to tell you this, folks. We organized this weekend 67 door-to-door canvases across the state of Texas on Saturday. 30 today, the largest one we held, the most block walkers, door knockers, people who are willing to talk to complete strangers about this next election, to defy and overcome the voter suppression and voter intimidation, was in Bryan College Station. They don't accept that any part of this state is too red or too Republican or too anti-choice. They acknowledge that more than red or blue, we are non-voting right now in the state of Texas. And it is up to us to reach out to our fellow Texans and to bring them in to this beautiful democracy. Now, we just heard from Wendy Davis. And one of the reasons that she is my all-time hero is that when she stood on that Senate floor in 2013, she had no idea. The odds were probably against her, but she knew that she had to try. When she ran for governor of the state of Texas the next year in 2014, we hadn't elected a Democratic governor since 1990. No one gave her a snowball's chance on this day in Austin to make it through that race, but she knew that she had to try. She knew what she was up against, and despite that, and maybe because of that, and for all of us, she did what she had to do. And every single day thereafter, she has been right by us, side by side, step for step, fighting for every single Texan out here today and for the generations yet to come. That is the spirit now of all of us, because, listen, the cynicism, the resignation that some feel, the temptation sometimes to criticize our allies and our friends and our other candidates for their imperfections or their inability to see things exactly the same way we do. When we do that stuff, we're doing the other side's work for them. We have got to stick together right now, and we've got to commit ourselves to the fight, because the other side understands that this is about power and control. And we've got to get wise to that, because listen, if, as they said, this was about life, then we wouldn't have had 100 children lose their lives in Child Protective Services just this year, 2020. If this was about life, as Yasmine said, we would not be leading so much of the developed world in the rate of maternal mortality, 3 times as deadly for black women in the state of Texas. If this was about life, we would not be the least insured state in the United States, where more kids die of diabetes in Texas than any other state in the Union. And if this were about life, then gun violence would not be the leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the state of Texas. If this were about life, then those 19 children in Uvalde, Texas would still be alive enjoying their summer break right now. This is about controlling the lives and the bodies of the women of Texas. But if we decide that we're going to stay together, if we decide, just like those great folks in Bryan and College Station who are knocking on doors right now under this blazing sun, their shirts drenched, their pants soaked, talking to people who may or may not see things the way that they do, taking a chance on that young woman who's never voted in an election in her lifetime because she says it just doesn't matter. Things seem to go from bad to worse no matter what we do. And we say, you know what? Your power is in your vote. It is your voice. And if we all vote together, we are going to overcome that. We bring her in. We get her registered. She is on the rolls. Just here in Travis County, in the year of our Lord, 2020, 203,000 of our neighbors who were eligible to vote did not cast a ballot. Since then, 85,000 new voters have entered the rolls. So that is 288,000 new people that we can go out there and meet and talk to and bring into this election. 288,000 people just in Travis County from whom we have not heard. Ladies and gentlemen, I lost to Ted Cruz by 216,000 votes. The margin of victory is right here in this county. If those 288,000 eligible, non-voting friends, family, neighbors, classmates, colleagues of ours in Travis County, joined by nearly 7 million eligible, non-voting Texans across the state, if they showed up, you don't have an abortion ban with no exception for rape or incest. If they show up, teachers are underpaid by $7,500 a year. There is no high-stakes, high-pressure STAR test that they have to perform to in that classroom. If they show up, we expand Medicaid and ensure that if you want to see a mental health care provider, you don't have to go to jail. If they show up, this state rises to its true potential, each of us able to fulfill our promise, but it's going to take action. And please, do not let anything substitute for action. Twitter, social media, they're fine. They will not get the job done. We will not tweet our way to victory. I love TikTok as much as the next person, and you got to see me dance sometime, but that's not going to do it either. Watching MSNBC, talking to those who already agree with us, we have to go out there and meet those people who've never participated before. And ladies and gentlemen, you know this, that Greg Abbott, in signing that voter suppression bill last year, he's targeted young and old, African American, Latino, communities of color, those experiencing poverty and homelessness, to try to keep them out of the ballot box. What if we all join this campaign, this effort, these great candidates here on this stage, and ensure that those people who have been determined to be unworthy of the ballot are the very ones that we reach out to and provide the margin of victory on the night of November 8th. This is how we do it. Last thing that I want to say, in terms of action, there are a number of amazing people here in these yellow construction vests. So I've got one here at the front of the stage. Where's Ana Ortega? Ana, you need to come up here so people can see you. So these volunteers, each of them, you'll see them out there, there's about 50 of them. They've got clipboards. There are 5 already scheduled canvases in 5 different parts of Travis County. I want you to sign up for one of them. So it's cheering, it's signs, it's voting, it's registering, and then it's bringing people in. And listen, as hot as it is right now, and as hot as it will be tomorrow when you go do that canvas, or next weekend, if that is what you choose, and maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable, and maybe it is inconvenient. Imagine how you'll feel if after this election is decided you have not done everything within your power to affect the outcome. Imagine the judgment of your kids and your grandkids and the generations yet to come who look back on us from the future. And they say, hey, when all this was happening, when you were still arguably a democracy, when you still had the power to do this, what did you do with it? We want to make sure that we come through, that we are not found wanting at the end of the day. So this is the choice before us. We now know that progress is not linear or inevitable. We know that no victory is ever final. And we have to accept that the fight might very well go on forever. I know that that is uncomfortable and it is inconvenient, but these are uncomfortable and inconvenient times. These are times not for the weak of heart, but we are strong, big-hearted people, right? We are the people of Texas. So when you have the choice between simply reacting to something or action or reaction, what do you choose? Action, reaction? Action, reaction? You all ready to knock on some doors and win some elections? Thank you all.